Internet, good morning. My name is Magnitude, aka Steven. Welcome back to the BBR Week 2 against Ogilbeena. I believe that's how it's pronounced. And the Miami Mence. Fantastic battle. Check out all of their content below. You will not be disappointed. The team I have this week is Dragapult, Quagsire, Sylveon, Lucario, Zoroark, and Ferrothorn. My opponent has Zarude. Never seen it before, never gone against it in a battle before, so it's, going to be fun. Silvally, Doublade, Toxicroak, Clefairy, and Reuniclus. So my opponent also has Kingdra and Pelipper, so I planned for some anti-rain things, or planned to deal with rain things by having, Water Absorb, Quagsire, and the like. But mostly this, I was kind of just concerned about being able to take hits from things in the water, or in the rain, and I kind of hoped that, by bringing two steel types, that, the fire move damage could have been mitigated. Because the only fire type mon they could possibly have had would be Sylveon Fire, or Silvally Fire. So I figured the steel types would be solid brings, but I guess he, kind of considered that by not bringing rain at all, and instead bringing, Toxicroak would have been fine in the rain as well, but, Toxicroak, no rain, so my steel types are going to have to deal without the buff of getting fire damage weakened against them. But my opponent does not seem to have a hazard removal mon. That's very apparent anyway, so I'm trying to see if I can get my hazards up. And, of course, using Zoroark to try to get some fun, different things happening with Zoroark. And maybe, make my opponents second-guess themselves because they're not sure what's a Zoroark and what's not. So they're going to lead with Silvally. And I'm going to lead with my Ferrothorn. That's actually a Ferrothorn. And here I'm thinking, I can just maybe get some rocks up, and then I'll have hazards going, and that'll be solid for me to have over the course of the battle. They're going to go and U-turn out. That's totally fine. They're going to take the Iron Barbs damage, and they're going to take the Rocky Helmet damage. So big fan of how the first turn played out with Ferrothorn. It's able to get some damage on the Silvally, and I'm able to get my rocks up. So we are good news here. So he does bring in Toxicroak, and probably assuming I'm just going to get Stealth Rocks up. And now I'm thinking, okay, I can't really leave. See, I'm trying to really figure out what I want to go. They're going to go Dragapult. I think he's going to go for a fighting move. Is he going to maybe predict that and maybe go for knockoff? So I decide, what, I'm just going to try to maybe get some more hazards up because he might predict me to switch. But he just goes for a fucking Focus Blast and absolutely demoralizes me. So Ferrothorn, he's not messing around early. He's got Life Force, which I could have gone to Dragapult and been able to outspeed it just fine, and there would have been no problems there. So, unfortunately, I predicted them wrong. I really thought maybe you'd predict me to switch because a switch was possible there. But I choose my Zoroark, which is going to be disguised as Quagsire. I'm hoping because I have Quagsire in, he's thinking that I maybe have special defensive, or maybe he's thinking that he'll stay in. But he just scouts that and goes right into Clefairy as it takes my extra sensory. And there's no way Quagsire can learn extra sensory, so he's obviously got to know this is actually Zoroark. Obviously, I'm just checking to see if I have the Sludge Bomb there. So I just hot swap here to Lucario. I mean, I know that this thing's got a top possibility for Mystical Fire, but I don't think he's going to go for it. I think he's instead just going to go for a Moonblast, more likely. But he gets Zone Rocks up, so now we each have Rocks up. But I'm liking where this situation gets me because I have, once I show the moveset, it'll happen. I'm thinking for a while. I have Flash Cannon, I have Nasty Plot, I have Vacuum Wave, so not to be hindered by, physically offensive things, or physically defensive things. So I just go for Flash Cannon, but he, predicts that and goes into Doublade here. But it's fine because I have, I'm going to go for Flash Cannon. But that's fine, because that did still a solid amount of damage, and I don't see any item on there. So I thought Nasty Plot here was, I'm thinking, I'm really thinking about going for the win right here. Because if I can get a Nasty Plot off, I could essentially win without any problem. So I do go for Nasty Plot, and I'm kind of assuming that they're going to hit me with something like a Swords Dance, or I guess they even go for Close Combat, but I have the Lychee Berry there. So he's going to get his defenses lowered, and he's going to be within Shadow Balling distance. I mean, he's probably got Shadow Sneak, but I kind of figured I'd be able to live that. And I do live that. I'm able to go for a Shadow Ball, and I'm able to take out the Doublade. So Lucario and taking on the Doublade, and now he's got to deal with the fact that I am +2. So really his only option can be at this point is to go into Toxicroak and kind of show me if he has Sucker Punch with being a special variant. So I decide if I want to save Lucario for later, or if I want to kind of get on top of the move that he's going to make, or just go for a Vacuum Wave, get some damage off, and if he wants to go for a Sucker Punch or whatever, so be it. He goes for his own Vacuum Wave, so I'm actually kind of glad that I did what I did, because I was able to get some solid damage, see that he does not have Sucker Punch, but instead it's Vacuum Wave, which is going to make Dragapult a more likely option against that thing in the future, if that has to happen. So that future is not, is it now? It's no, I'm going to Quagsire. So I go into Quagsire again, and I was thinking maybe I could convince him that it's once again Toxicroak, or once again Zoroark, actually. But, I mean, if he was paying attention, you would have seen that it didn't take any... I was at max HP when I came in, but I just go for an Ice Beam because I figure, you know what, maybe he wants to go into Zaru to take a water move, but he just goes into Silvally, and that thing's taking some hefty damage. And I do go for Ice Beam here. And yeah, that is not a lot of damage. That thing is bulky as fuck, which leads me to believe he's probably Assault Vested. And I need to decide if he's going to U-turn again. And if he U-turns, I want to get the jump on him by yawning something and forcing it back out after it comes in. So I do go for that, and luckily I was able to kind of get that there. Maybe he wants to go into Toxicroak, trying to cash in on a Scald, get that Water Absorb to get HP back, which is a possibility. Because there's no way I'd go for Ice Beam again at that when it did that little amount of HP. That wouldn't make any sense. So he's thinking for a while, but I figure, you know what, he's probably just gonna go into. I thought maybe Toxicroak on the Scald, but I just go for a Yawn, and he goes into Clefairy. So he has options to get a Wish off. He has options to just immediately switch out again into something else. He's got a few different options, but the fact that he's Yawned, it's more pressing for him. He has less time to make, but he just decides to switch. He goes back into his Silvally, and he's just taking some damage with Silvally. So I go into Sylveon for the first time today. And I mean, I wish I didn't show leftovers. I would have rather shown, you know, a more offensive. I would rather have not shown an item. I would have preferred a more offensive option, but with his Toxicroak at such a little amount of HP and no Doublade, I feel like I can, you know, live whatever he wants to hit me with, and then hit him with a Hyper Voice, and that'll be the end of this thing. It's not the end of this thing because he's fucking Assault Vested in an absolute god animal creature, and that's a problem. So I just go right into Dragapult because I figured, I mean, he's normal type, so I know that the multi-attack will not affect me, which is great, and that is, you know, what happens. And now he has. If I get a Dragon Dance up, you know, he's got U-turn, multi-attack. Who knows what else he has? I can't really risk him going for something like. He's got a lot. He's got a giant moveset, but I just go for a U-turn because at this point I feel like my winning condition is getting Dragapult a Dragon Dance up, and in order to do that, I need to get a Dragon Dance up against something that can't really harm it, like a Toxicroak, which is probably the best bet. So I need to make sure that I have Toxicroak versus Dragapult, and that's what I have to try to do. I go into Zoroark disguised as Silvally. I didn't really give a shit that it was disguised at this point because it's just going to have way more HP than Silvally, but I just wanted to go into Zoroark as it is. So I Sludge Bomb, and he's actually going to get a Moonblast off because I think he figures that this is in fact Zoroark. I die. There it is, Zoroark, you're making your only appearance, and you die. So far Zoroark not making much of an impact. But I got Sylveon, Quagsire, and Dragapult left. I go into Sylveon because I know that I'm going to outspeed the Clefairy. So I'll be able to at least get some leftovers back as I kill it or Hyper Voice it or something like that. And there's not really a lot that he wants to switch into that wants to take a Hyper Voice. So he might just have to let Clefairy die, and if he does, I'll be kind of pleased because it'll let me just Dragon Darts the rest of his team with Dragapult. I do Hyper Voice, Clefairy goes down, and now we're going to be getting into a point in the battle where I have to try to set up a scenario where I'm going to get Dragapult in the game against his Toxicroak. It's really the only option, because if I get it in against Reuniclus, I'll probably die. If I get it in against Zarude, I don't know what item he is, but I determined that Silvally was probably Assault Vest, meaning Zarude is probably Scarf if he has anything. So he does go into Toxicroak, and I feel like this is my only real chance to make this scenario happen. I know that if I yawn with Quagsire and he stays in, when he goes asleep, I know that that'll be my opportunity to get Dragapult in there. So I just go into Quagsire, and essentially my goal is to incapacitate this Toxicroak or just take enough hits as to where it'll, he won't kill himself to Life Orb or something like that, and I'll be able to just get Dragapult in as the Toxicroak falls asleep. That is my plan, or even if I die, that doesn't matter to me. Either way, I know that I need to get this Toxicroak in. I need to keep it in and make sure it stays in against the likes of my Dragapult. And luckily, he's at a range where he can choose to kill me. He'll be alive with Life Orb, and I'll be able to get a Dragon Dance off with Dragapult and just hope for the best. So I figure, you know what? I'm just going to go for broke here. I need to make sure this thing falls asleep. I need to make sure, or, I guess if he dies, that's whatever. Or if he wants to switch out and go into Zarude, that's also an option I considered. But he does kill me. He does fall asleep, and he's alive at not a lot of HP, maybe 2. So this is the scenario that I'd hope for. This is the exact plan that I wanted. It's going to be Dragapult's time to shine. I'm going to get up a Dragon Dance and hope that I can just take him out. That's all I can do. If I get up a Dragon Dance, I think I can win this. And I'll outspeed Zarude. I will, obviously, I'm obviously going to outspeed Reuniclus, but I'm going to be able to, Phantom Force without any problems. But the fact that he went to sleep first, it leads me to believe that he also has Sucker Punch, which kind of terrified me. So I couldn't risk going for another one. I just had to I really thought about it. I'm like, I can go for one more, but if he actually has Sucker Punch, I'm in trouble. He could just be going for a Vacuum Wave to wake up. I don't know. Or he could be going for a Vacuum Wave to bluff that he has Sucker Punch, in hoping that I'll just go for one. But either way, this is really it for me. I have no other options. This is it. I got my +1. I'm going to be able to outspeed Reuniclus. I'm going to be able to outspeed Zarude. But he goes into Reuniclus, and I was a little confused as to why he might have done that. I'm just going to go for a Phantom Force and not really worry about it. I go for a Phantom Force, and I'm thinking, okay, is he going to go for... But he goes for a fucking Trick Room! And I'm thinking, no, God, no! This is going to be terrible, because if V switches out right here, and it's a... No! He's going to have a slow as shit Reuniclus against my Sylveon! That's not a good... I don't want that at all. That's terrible news. A fucking late game Trick Room to negate my Dragon Dance? That's unreal. So now I have to hope that one of 3 things happens. One, I live whatever move that he's going to throw at me. Well, I do because of the berry here. 2, I don't live because of the berry. So I'd hope I'd live, which I didn't do. The other option was I'd hope that he's just, I don't know, switched out again for some reason. Or 3, I have to hope that Sylveon can somehow reverse outspeed a Reuniclus, so be slower than in a Trick Room. Because I'm definitely going to be slower than Zarude here. That's a given. I'm going to be able to Hyper Voice, but I guess now he's probably here calculating if he can live 2 Hyper Voices with Reuniclus. Because if he can, he'll probably switch out into Reuniclus and take the Hyper Voices. I guess he's calculating if he can live 1 Hyper Voice. But I've just decided, you know what, I'm going to Hyper Voice this thing. Going to go ahead, take out this Zarude, and then unfortunately he's going to go back into Reuniclus. I'm obviously not going to live a move at this range from Reuniclus. So Reuniclus is going to take me down. That late game Trick Room was clutch as fuck. A great play by him. So I'm going to lose again 1-0. So I'm 0-2 -2. Hopefully next week I can get over the hump. Or at least these 1-0s, man, are brutal. So he's going to take me out. This has been another BBR battle, guys. Again, be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe for more, and I'll see each and every one of you guys next time. Good night.